going on, guys? What's happening out there?
What's up?
This is Sebastian Swick and
Eric Castellanos.
And we are
Amazon Lit, bringing you that Amazon content, that fire, that real life Amazon seller content. It's what we do for a living.
It's 100% authentic, 100% real. We show our warehouse, we show our staff, we show the numbers, we show our products. Show us one person who's showing more stuff than we're showing, please, because it's a lot of shows. It's a lot of shows.
Yeah, we've searched, we've looked high and low, and there might be one or two other guys giving you the information that we're supplying and giving you an in-depth look inside the operations of an 8-figure Amazon company, but it's few and far between.
Over 100 million sold on Amazon, and then millions, between Walmart, Jet, and eBay as well.
Yeah.
We're growing our wholesale division as well.
Yeah. We
got a couple cool software opportunities coming up. But right now we're here to kind of show you guys, how to sell on Amazon. As Amazon continues to grow, and anyone who tells you otherwise, anyone who tells you that Amazon isn't growing or Amazon is oversaturated or Amazon isn't for third-party sellers, they just don't have the information right. I like to look at numbers, and in 2013, the third-party population was, somewhere in the 30% range. Now, at this point, we're getting closer to the 60% range.
Yeah.
So there are more third-party sellers on Amazon, more Prime members than there have ever been, and more opportunities.
Yeah, and more sellers than ever are doing well over $1 million in sales a month. I mean, a year. And let's explain something to our community out there and to you guys, because when you hear, we want to get this straight, when you hear somebody say an Amazon consultant,
before Eric does this, I'm just going to let you guys know he's about to spoil Instagram and so many platforms for so many of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. If you don't want the truth, don't listen.
Yes.
Turn this off right now.
Yes. So when you hear a seller or a guru say, "Do you want to make $1 million a month?" Right? There's a huge misconception, and it's very misleading, because what they're talking about is revenue, right? They're talking about gross revenue. In that, sales. So total sales. In that, what's not accounted for is item cost, shipping fees, business expenses like labor, boxes, supplies, warehouse rent, right? And I know for us, our item cost is about 40% of our total revenue. Shipping fees is about another 25 to 30%. And then we have referral fees, and then we have our employees and our staff, and all of those percentages just keep eating away at that sales revenue until you're left with the bottom line profit, right? Like what actually comes back into the company.
Net profit. Net
profit. And what we do with that, and most of it, is reinvest it back into the company, because we're trying to grow a large monster Amazon business, and it's working. So just be mindful that when you hear somebody and you see that advertisement on Facebook, like, "Do you want to make $1 million next month?" and you're like, "Yeah, I'm miserable at my job. I want to make $1 million next month," right? It's completely different, gross revenue sales to net profit margin. It's night and day. So just be mindful of that. I'm not telling you not to get excited, because still, if you're pulling in 8%, net profit on $1 million in sales, you're still pulling in 80 grand a year after all your expenses, which is more than most people make at their 9 to 5. So there's a lot of opportunity, but the $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, we had students. You just had a consultation with one, doing $10,000 a month in profit.
Yeah.
So and we have dozens of students that are. My one guy, he's doing $500,000 in revenue a month, but he runs a business by himself. He's got about a 13% margin, but his expenses are super low. Small warehouse, and I've helped him bring it to the next level. But he's really helped himself. I just gave him some ideas. He took those ideas and blossomed with them and continues to grow. But what Eric said, man, is it's so true. Making $1 million as a company versus making it as net profit is two completely different things, and not to be discouraged. Like he said, it takes hard work. You know, we're not here to sell you guys this quick dream. You're gonna make the money. You're gonna be driving the Lamborghini. You know, it takes hard work. There's some luck that comes into play for some people, but everyone we talk to, it takes hard work. You know, we were just at a show where we got to see this guy speak about how he sold his company for $100 million after a few years, but he was putting 18, 20 hours in, and he had a great idea, but he pushed it, and he continues to push the envelope, and so do we. And you know, and yes, we're here to share with you our Amazon business, but we're so much more than that. We are a retail business / experience. You know, we want to provide to our customers the wholesale opportunities because we also deal with businesses. We want to provide to Amazon customers, which we treat like our own, the experience, and that's why we have 100% satisfaction rate with hundreds of thousands of reviews, literally hundreds of thousands of reviews on Amazon. And then we do the same thing. We're looking right now into brick and mortar opportunities as well. Providing the experience, and with our private label brands as well. You know, providing experience and providing to them more than what they were expecting, right? Under promising and then over delivering.
Yeah. And so with that being said, it's going to take a lot of work. Even, what was the gentleman's name from Native?
Moise.
So Moise from Native, private labeled a deodorant company that he started in his living room or in his dining room at his condo, and was hand producing deodorants and hand placing the labels on them. And for 2 years, he dealt with all the customer complaints. Yes. He dealt with all the refunds. He dealt with all the shipping. He understood the ins and outs of his business. And then 3 or 4 years later, he's able to sell it to Procter & Gamble for $100 million, right? And he's still a part of the company, so he gets to continue to have a say in what happens with his brand. But with that being said, it's going to take a lot of work. So a lot of people, they're like, hey, how can I work 5 hours a week? And I tell them straight up, we tell them all, you can't. If you want to build something that's just bigger than you can even fathom, you're not going to work 5 hours a week. Maybe in 10, 15 years, once you have systems in place and processes and employees, you can step away and grow other businesses and only put 10, 15 hours a week into that business. But early on, you're going to have long days, late nights, early mornings, sleepless. It's just going to stress. It's a lot of work.
If you want to grow a sustainable business that's going to last you a lifetime and maybe last generations, you have to put the work in. Now, if you want it to be a part-time investment with part-time results, you can do that as well. There's not to say you can't make money part-time, but you're not going to get the same results, and we definitely wouldn't say that you can do this part-time or within 12 months and start driving a Lamborghini. If you put the right concepts and processes in place, you develop the right concept and then follow it up with the right processes, absolutely you can get there. Absolutely 100%. Seldom few do, but you can get there. We got to where we are today by busting our butts. There's other people that get there through ingenuity and creativity. We got there through that, but more so through hard work.
Yes, sweat equity.
We really worked, we worked our butts off, and we still do to today. We have the liberty of traveling the country and going to a lot of trade shows and networking and building our future because we've put the efficiencies into our operation where now it's a standalone and we can walk out and still be profitable because we have systems and people in place there that keep our operation running and fruitful.
Yeah, and it's important to keep in mind as well that we're 7 years in now. It's coming up on our sixth year. Yeah, 7-year anniversary.
July 6th year.
Oh, July is the 6th year?
6 years.
6 years. So 6 years. 6 years. We've been around and still, we get to travel the country, but when we're gone for a week, being the heads of the company and understanding what happens in the ins and the outs of the daily operations, there's a lot to do when we get back. You know, so it's not like we've been able to step away the company and we just travel the country. Like, we're still got our hands in the day-to-day operations, buying, researching, streamlining efficiencies, improving the warehouse production, you know, going through our stranded and excess inventory, repricing, building relationships with wholesalers and distributors, researching private label products, paying attention to the top and bottom line. Like, those are things we do on a day-to-day basis, even when we travel.
Exactly. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, but it allows us to have so many liberties. You know, and it's a blessing to have something that you've grown from the bottom and watch it just blossom and watch it continue to prosper, and know that, hey, these are your ideas that you're putting in on a day-to-day basis, which are providing you, validating what you're doing. You know, there's no better experience than that. So anything I would say about the 9 to 5, you know, it's not about this. I'm not about the shitty boss. There are shitty bosses, but there's also great bosses out there. There are shitty jobs out there, but there are also great 9 to 5 jobs out there that are very validating. But for myself, what was the most validating was being able to see that the ideas that we were implementing were becoming fruitful and then rapidly blossoming. It's an experience like no other, you know?
Yeah, nothing's better than really implementing a new system or a new process or a new change in your company, and then we're sitting down as a team with the managerial staff and reviewing the profit margins and the revenue and the sales and how many orders are coming through and the customer feedback and the returns, and sitting down and reviewing them collectively as a group and really seeing how those changes that we implemented the month previous, 2 months previous, are having an impact on those numbers. It's very rewarding.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't always work, and you make adjustments accordingly.
Right. And we don't consider them failures. We look at them as learning experiences because we do get to learn from them. And the truth is, I mean, how many thousands upon tens of thousands of dollars do people spend on school, and then they don't even take that degree and utilize it in their career paths? Well, what happens here is we might spend a couple $1,000s and have a learning experience where what we were thinking was going to work out doesn't work out, but then we learn from that experience, we make changes, because insanity is if we repeated the same thing over and over again. Literally, that's the definition. So we don't want to be insane. We make changes, and then we try something else. And usually the second time around it works. If it doesn't, third, fourth time, it always does. But we continue to make changes. We continue to drive ingenuity, creativity, and find new ways to continue to grow. I mean, you know, I'm always telling my staff, and they see it. The company that we were in January of 2019 is completely different than the company that we were in January of 2018, which is completely 100% different than January of 2017. We're always innovating, and you have to do that as well. And people ask, how do you get there? And it's like, we just start going. Like, that's it, one foot in front of the other, and continue to work on ourselves. And because as a business owner, first thing you have is yourself. And as long as you're working on yourself and growing yourself, everything seems to just kind of fall in line.
Yeah, you just made me laugh inside when I was picturing where we were January 2017 or even January 2016. Just like no process in place, very unorganized. We were still pumping out, you know, 10 million a year at that time, right?
Yeah, I mean, our first 6 months we did like 3 or 4 million.
Yeah. So it was like, it was just very less, I don't want to say unorganized, but less organized than it is today. And you know, we've been able to streamline those efficiencies and take a look at those processes and create, you know, production stations and staff meetings and managerial meetings and be all in line together collectively as a family. Because at Amazon Lit, we are a family, and we treat our staff like family, and that's why we have a very low turnaround rate. We have a high retention rate? Yeah, we have a high retention rate with our employees. Most of them, 90 to 95% of them who start with us stay with us because we treat them with the respect that they deserve as valued members of our team.
Yeah, we remember that we were not always bosses, and know how it could be to have that crappy boss as well. And we don't want to repeat that. We want people that want to come to work, because then they take care of our company better, which then in return takes care of our customers better. Yeah. So by starting, and that's like the Costco philosophy. If you ever look at Costco, you go into Costco versus some of the other clubs, you'll notice that the employees there are more, A, they're more knowledgeable, and B, they're just more helpful than some of the other wholesale clubs. And it's because A, they pay them better, B, they respect them. I don't want to go into the respect factor, but they pay them better, and they understand their value. Let's put it there. They understand the value that their employees bring, and then guess what? That gets reciprocated to the customer, and you know, back and forth, mirror image. So what they provide to the employees, like what we provide to our employees, gets passed on to our company and passed on to the customer.
And this is a little side note, but now that he's talking about Costco, it got me thinking about an article I read the other day. And really, I think it expresses the importance of taking losses in a business to grow the business. Early on, we took a lot of losses to kind of grow a large business and gain, you know, a lot of customer reviews and a high customer feedback rating and become a monster on Amazon.com. And in the article I was reading, it was talking about how Costco loses over $1 million a year in its food sales. So it basically gives food away just to get customers in the door, because they know once they're in the door, you know, Costco's average unit cost is probably right around $20. Yeah. So if they buy one unit, you know, they might give them a discounted hot dog that they're not making any money on, or a slice of pizza, but they're getting them for, you know, 2-3 units at a time. Some people buy stuff for their whole store in there, you know, or parties, and they go spend hundreds of dollars. So it's like they take a loss for the long term to get the gain.
And like Amazon does, they both, the membership, they make, in the billions, I think, on membership, hundreds of millions in membership fees every year. So yeah, it's it's really about understanding your employees, and then of course understanding the customers.
And customers number one.
Yeah, customers number one, but right there with them is your employees. And there's no way you're going to retain customers if you're not taking care of your employees. But you know, how about if you're starting off small and you're just getting into the Amazon business and you're working by yourself, a one-man team, like the early days of us. Like what happens then? Like how can somebody watching this for the first time that's thinking about getting into Amazon, what should they be doing right now?
They should just get started selling, you know. List some products up. We started with retail arbitrage, going to our local grocery stores, the wholesale clubs, starting with 1s and 2s, and then going to 5s and 10s, and then we were getting vanfuls, which turned into pallets, right? So I would just say the best way to start is to just start. Make mistakes, figure it out. There's tons of content out there, YouTube videos, information. It's endless.
Tons of content. And Eric couldn't say it better. Like, there's an opportunity. When we started in 2013, the content wasn't there yet. There wasn't YouTube about selling on Amazon. There wasn't all the different apps and services provided. I mean, at the Chicago show, we were at the hundreds of different companies that service e-commerce. That wasn't so back then. You know, there was even a repricer at that point. So, you know, we've learned and we've been able to scale our business by looking at other businesses. We've had opportunities to sit down with companies that weren't e-commerce, and they helped us grow because we went into some of these large wholesale companies and saw the efficiencies that they had set up in their operations. We learned about steps and movements and how to kind of eliminate steps to help with efficiencies. Processing lines, which we've implemented, and these aren't ideas that we had of our own. These are ideas that we got from people that, you know, even though they're not direct mentors, they're like indirect coaches and mentors, because they had these fruitful, successful businesses, and we took some of that information, and that's part of the reason we provide it to you. You know, a lot of the people that we work with, they know our value, and I tell them, like, listen, you could 100% do this on your own. There's no reason you would need us to help you, because we did it on our own, but you do need to look for information from others who have been there before you to help eliminate the wasted time. Because yeah, you'll get there, but it might take you 4 years to figure out those mistakes versus being informed, or, you know, watching people like us, watching others out there who are also successful. There's other Amazon sellers out there who are providing real authentic information, watching them and taking and kind of mimicking their processes, and then also tweaking it, because you can make it better because you're the next generation coming into the play.
Yeah, and don't be scared to invest in your future, right? Like this trip we're on now, it's an investment in our future. We're learning a lot from veterans in the industry. Don't be scared, to find whether it's us or another reputable Amazon consultant that can take you to the next level. Don't be scared to invest a couple $100s into yourself, because it's an investment for your future. And I know from my experience, I spent a couple $100s on way less useful things in my life.
Yeah.
Whether it's that new pair of shoes that I don't really need, that I really like, that I end up wearing 10 times, or the fancy rims for the car, or that new necklace, like all that material stuff that really does me no benefit at the end of the day. But investing in my future and learning from people who are experienced and knowledgeable, it's definitely a game changer, and we do it.
Yeah. What it does is it changes your mindset. It's like traveling the world, things that change your mindset. People forget the value, and not everyone, I'm saying I forget it too, but sometimes let me say, because it happens to me, I get stuck in my day-to-day operation, and I forget the value of just stepping away. What it does is it allows me to think differently, and in those moments where I'm thinking differently, new ideas come into play. I meet new people and new ideas come into play. And if anything I share with you is like, one of the things that upsets me is when people that we work with, I tell them to get to this trade show, I tell them to go to this workshop, and they're like, listen, I have a shipment coming in, and I really got to get it out, flip that money. And I understand you have to flip the money. I understand, trust me, we understand more than anyone else about making sure we're flipping the product. You hear Eric every week feeding the beast at Amazon. But at the same time, there's so much unseen value, because you can't put a number, you can't put a dollar amount on learning and obtaining new information, because you have no idea what it could do. That moment when you step away from your business and go see the industry like we're seeing, go meet with somebody, it could be a game changer, game changer for you.
Yeah, it's a little less tangible. Like the physical, tangible aspect of it is just a little less there, but it exists. It's definitely real, and it's true indeed. We've experienced it ourselves. We've definitely experienced it ourselves.
So I think at this point we got to wrap it up. We got. Speaking of meeting people, we have sessions to go to meet with people, because we're out here learning ourselves, taking our business to the next level. And hopefully we were able to provide you guys with a little bit more insight into who we are, and provide you guys with some knowledge and help you take it to the next level as well.
So make sure you smash that subscribe button. If you got any comments, questions, concerns, ideas for other videos, throw them in the comments below. Follow us on social media. Reach out. Let's get to know each other. Hopefully we can run into each other at one of these trade shows across the country. Thank you everybody for joining. Thanks for following us on this journey, and stay lit.
Stay lit, guys.